What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Brothers Geek Out channel. It's another episode of Fight Talk with the BMAs, the basic MMA analysts. Just a solo one for me today. K West is on a visa run in Thailand, so he's kind of occupied. So I'm just going to quickly give you my thoughts on the UFC fight night that we had, which was in St. Louis. We had some hometown heroes. Derrick Lewis in the heavyweight division taking on Rodrigo Nascimento. Hopefully I said that right. K West is normally here to correct me with my wording. But as usual, guys, like normally me and K West, we talk, we catch up or whatnot. Always check the description to get straight to the fight talk if you want to skip about what's been going on in our lives and all that sort of stuff. But in this case, I'm just going to quickly go through the fights. I'm going to get straight to it. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about this heavyweight division. Let's talk about Derrick Lewis, who's just absolute superstar, just hilarious. I mean, an amazing fighter in what he does, just powerful. And for him, and in the heavyweight division in general, one punch takes it all. That's all that's needed in that division. But Derrick Lewis specifically just holding the most, I think it's the most knockout record in the UFC heavyweights, or just UFC in general. And that was the story of this fight. I mean, he came out fast. Derrick Lewis is super athletic for his build, man. He loves throwing that jumping switch kick, which is amazing that he could pull that off. But from the looks of it, like that was the story of the fight. I mean, Rodrigo, he was standing up a little bit, but the moment he'll take Derrick Lewis down, it's kind of like what we've seen in the past, where Derrick Lewis kind of struggles on the ground, or I don't know if he struggles, but kind of accepts being on the ground. Maybe he's just trying to, hold tight, catch a breath, and then at the right moment, just explode and get back on his feet. And he done that in round one, I mean, he started off explosive on standing up. He got taken down. He even went for a takedown or two. And then got taken down and was controlled on the ground in round one. And by the end of that round, he kind of exploded up using his power. And then ended up on top of the round at the end of round one. But then round two kind of started off almost similar. And if I remember correctly, he went for a takedown or trip, which led to him being on his back again. I mean, he started off again with striking and whatnot. And Rodrigo was able to kind of hold him down. And that's what's been going on with Derrick Lewis for a while now. He's excuse me, he's amazing at what he does. But against the elite grapplers, there's a moment where he just kind of like accepts being on his back. But he's so powerful, and of course he has technique as well, but he's so powerful that he could just explode out. And ultimately, when he did, he was able to connect with the strike that was able to take him out. I mean, that was all it needed. Once he connected with one, and we've seen what he could do with just one strike. When he was able to connect with the overhand, I think it was with overhand, right? That was it from there. I think it was in round three. That was it from there. That's all he needed. And then they just finish off. And then after his celebration, taking off his shorts, the cut, the whole lot, just absolutely hilarious. He's just got so much charisma. And that's why it's so much fun. I mean, he's got records in knockouts. But on top of that, he's just fun as a person. He's just got so much charisma. The crowd was going crazy. Hometown hero. It's great that he was able to win at home. Absolutely amazing. I mean, he's at number 12 now. What does he do to... I mean, I feel like he could definitely build... I mean, heavyweight division, especially with John Jones at the top, and it's stacked. For him to get back up there again, I mean, I think he's just fun for the heavyweight division anyway. That's what I think his main, like, what's amazing. Like, he could definitely hold it up within the top 10, top 15. But he's just fun to have as a character now. I know there was all these talks about him possibly going to the WWE and whatnot. He'll be perfect fit. He'll be a perfect fit in that as well. So if he was to bounce between the two, that'd be amazing for him. So it's always fun to see Derrick Lewis fight. It's always exciting to see him fight. Right, let's move on to the welterweight bout. Second fight, the co-main event. Joaquin Buckley versus oh man, this one I need K West. Nursultan Rubrov from Uzbekistan. Sorry, I butchered that name. This fight for me was one of the most exciting, well, anticipated fights. I mean, Joaquin Buckley manifested this at UFC 300. He wanted to fight in his hometown, and he had the crowd going. The crowd was on their feet. You can hear the crowd obviously supporting him because his hometown. But every time he done something, the crowd was just going crazy. So he really got the hype of the crowd. And you know what? Not many people would take this fight against Rodrigo, on like he's a dangerous guy. He's got a high level record. I think he was undefeated in the UFC. But he's had like 40, 50 fights or something like that. Up and coming in the UFC, just very dangerous. I mean, I even saw a massive, like obviously they weighed in and whatnot, but there was a massive size difference, man. I mean, this dude's like 6 foot something. But Buckley, he wanted this fight. He was hyping the fight. He's got great movement. He's so explosive. He's got those fast twitch muscles. He's got that footwork. He would come in with strikes. And ultimately, I would say he won by wrestling domination. And I didn't think that would happen. I thought, the brother from Uzbekistan would have a better wrestling game. And I'm sure, of course, he knows wrestling, of course. But Buckley was able to take him down, hold him down, ground and pound. But it was a great back and forth fight. I mean, I would say, Buckley was a lot more versatile with his strategy in regards to striking, taking down, and whatnot. Nusrat hopefully I'm saying the name right. I mean, from the striking perspective, definitely explosive with the flying knees, but there was a lot of just right hands and right kicks, mostly that. And it was a bit, I guess, for Buckley, maybe able to see that and capitalize off just those two strikes. Now, of course, there were some great scrambles on the ground as well. But ultimately, I think Buckley, like with the pressure and with the wrestling, was able to kind of overcome and take Wuzbioff out. I mean, look, he won by decision. Hard guy to finish, but he did connect. I think it was in round three. I think it was round three where he connected, and walked it. So I mean, Buckley is just super exciting, man. He had the crowd. He had everyone going, man. So exciting, exciting fire. And I think he's just he manifested this and he's building up his reputation. He's already built up and whatnot, but he's super exciting. I feel like from a superstar perspective, like he definitely went up a notch. I'm not saying he's up there with the biggest superstars, but definitely went up a notch with this fight, with this card. And it's amazing how he was able to do it on a fight night. You know what I mean? Like, I think he really pumped it up to make this fight super exciting, especially in his hometown. So, got to give it to Joaquin Buckley for that. Looking forward to seeing more of him in this welterweight division. And even Wozbiov, I don't think that's the end. Like, definitely not the end of him. This one love about MMA. Just because of one loss or whatnot doesn't mean the end. But I would love to see more of him. We will see more of him, but I would love to see how he kind of learns from this and moves forward. Because I definitely think he's someone to be reckoned, a force to be reckoned with in this division. He's absolutely massive. Excuse me, absolutely massive. But Buckley is exciting, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what Buckley could do next. Him versus an MVP will be fun. You got, I don't know, there's a few people in that division. I think that would be fun for him to go against. Maybe in the top 10 or whatnot. He is number 11 now, but super fun. Joaquin Buckley smashed it. Calling out McGregor at the end. I think that was just just a bit of extra of hype and just I don't think that was serious. I don't know. I think he gave a bit more of a realistic call out after and whatnot. But I think ultimately that was just more like let's see what Joaquin Buckley pitches more realistic. I see some news here. Let's check it, see who else he calls out. Because of course McGregor, but McGregor ain't gonna fight him. Let's see who else he calls out. I just seen something. ESPN showing Where was he at, man? I don't see anything. He must have said something in the interview. The biggest name, obviously, is the fight they want to happen. But Buckley said the number of God. Call him out. You use his name. You could promote yourself. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's using his name to promote himself. So he's just being smart with that. Gilbert Burns. Okay, hold on. So he loves to call that, but listen, I think when you call that, I think that's just smart. Why not use McGregor's name, get some attention, and then after he's a bit more realistic and say, let's call that Gilbert Burns, which I think is a great fight for him. That's a good fight. So good on him. Good on him for strategizing and just building his reputation, building his superstardom. Let's move on. The light heavyweight bout, which got performance of the night, which was just before this. Alonzo Manifield versus Carlos Ulberg, which was a short fight, 12 seconds. And I feel like it was, I mean, obviously light heavyweight, you know, one punch again at this division just changes everything. But it was just the rushing in, which was obviously the downfall for Alonso. And maybe there was a strategy to like overwhelm, the shock factor of rushing in. But you know, you've got to be careful, man. I mean, Carlos trains with Eugene and that camp over there in Australia or New Zealand, sorry. Super kick, was it kickboxing, super kickboxing or something? I can't remember what it's called now. But you've got to be more strategic than just you know, just trying to get in there and rush into it, man. These guys, you know, if you don't, there's a chance of being clipped, and that's exactly what happened. You know, you're taking that risk. Yes, you're putting on the pressure, you're putting on that shock value of coming out straight away, guns blazing. But there is that big risk of being clipped, and that's the beginning of the fight, right in the beginning. So there's that element of like that person still fresh, ready to go, movement, like, you know, the energy's there compared to, you know, doing that in the third round when maybe things have slowed down a little bit. Yeah, but I don't know. It was a quick fight. Lots to learn from there, you know, just not rushing in and just taking your time a little bit. Next fight after that was the performance of the night by Diego Ferreira versus Matthias Rebek. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Undefeated fighter from Poland, hopefully I'm saying that, Rebek, came out, and I thought he was gonna win that fight. I mean, look, he was undefeated. He came out guns blazing, even knocked down Diego in the first round, but Diego was able to overcome it, and then just put on I wouldn't say clinic actually, but he just dominated after. I mean, maybe Rebek gassed himself out. That's what it kind of looked like. But Diego, again, overcoming that first round just from the striking to the takedowns. Even when Rebek took takedowns down, he was, you know, with technique able to get back up and just apply that pressure back on, and ultimately finishing the fight in I think like finished like 10 seconds to go. We're just pulling it on him, and he was able to overcome. I think Rebek looked good, obviously amazing in the first round, coming out strong, trying to finish the fight, 16 win streak, all that sort of stuff. Undefeated fighter, thinking finishes quick. But if you come across that person that you can't take out immediately, you gotta pace yourself, you know. And that's what I think has happened. I mean, that Diego overcame, you know, and once he felt that confidence, man, it was just on from there, and he just put on a performance the night, ultimately closing Rebek's eyes, both eyes were done, and then just putting on that pressure right at the end, 10 seconds. I mean, he would have lost the fight anyway by Rebek would have lost the fight by decision, or Diego would have won by decision ultimately. But the fact that he just put it on and was able to just kind of get stoppage at that last 10 seconds just goes to show how much pressure he put on for Rebek to just not be able to fight back intelligently in the last 10 seconds of that fight. But it's that, again, maybe it's that pace thing, you know, and maybe it was that confidence of like, you know, I've 16 wins, you know what I mean? Like, no, you know what I mean? There's that reality of when you come across that dude you can't take out, how do you handle that sort of thing? So there's a lot to learn from that perspective as well. A loss is always good from a perspective of learning and everything. Before that, we had featherweight bout between Alex Caceres versus Sean Woodson. Alex Caceres has been there for ages. I always remember him from that tough show, and he always come out in the, you know, Bruce Lee outfit, you know, Bruce Leroy and everything. He's like a veteran. I mean, the guy's had over 30 fights plus. He's seen it all, high level and whatnot. He's like a veteran in that division. I mean, number 15, he did lose by decision, but what you saw by the end of the fight was he was getting very confident. I mean, Sean, man, he had this tall, again, a big size difference. You see, just tall, lanky sort of frame, and it was able to use his length, his reach, but also this awkward faking sort of movement that he had, just hands all over the place, body constantly moving, throwing distractions all over the place, like constantly in the round one. And I think he was able to utilize that, to ultimately get points on Kasira, with the striking and everything. It was a very awkward style just by watching him. You're like, damn, that's very awkward. Just loads of different kind of strikes, left, right, and center, being awkward with that. And ultimately just, winning by decision, because I think that first round, second round. But by the third round, you saw Alex Casero coming in, he's getting confident, he was smiling at certain points. So he knew, that he was getting there, but he just wasn't able to do enough to win the decision. But always fun to see those guys fight. Sean, I'm looking out for Sean more. I mean, he's very awkward looking, and that style of fake, that again, just so much faking going on, so much movement going on, disguised in the strikes was awesome. And then to kick off this card, we had a heavyweight bout. Waldo Cortez Acosta versus a big prospect in the heavyweight division, Robelis Despage. Hopefully I'm saying that right, from Cuba. Now his brother, again, I'm seeing a massive size difference. This dude was huge, man. And we've seen him fight before. We've seen the hype around him. Taekwondo, black belt. Taekwondo is his base. Is he Olympian? Why am I thinking he's an Olympian? I don't know. But, knocking dudes out left, right, and center, first round and everything. Coming into the UFC heavyweight division, I believe if I remember, he won his first fight, knockout. And in this fight, you thought he's going to do the same. I mean, that's what it looked like, man. Coming out hands low, like, Wonderboy Thompson or MVP with that Taekwondo style and that karate point fight style. And throwing, and it's heavyweight as well, for him to be moving and throwing those kicks and having that stance in that heavyweight division. Again, one strike does it all. And ultimately, it was the grappling. It was the grappling. I mean, he showed a big flaw in his game, with the grappling. I mean, Waldo was able to take him down, control him, ultimately beat him up. I think in round 3, he was even talking to his corner. Like, he was confident that not only can he hold him down, that he can hold him down, talk to him, try and beat him up. I think in the first round, he didn't do much damage, but I think it gave him that confidence of, like, I could hold him down. And by the end of round 2 and 3, Waldo was like, bring on the striking. Now, he was smart. I think he was smart with, like, going up against the cage, saying, bring it. As soon as, Despage kind of committed to a certain strike and wasn't able to connect, and that would be the main factor, obviously, not able to connect, just grab hold of him and take him down. And that confidence was there, and he was even he was even encouraging the striking. That's how his confidence went straight up, from being able to, I wouldn't say take the striking, but being able to avoid anything major damage and just take him down and fully control Despage. So obviously there's a fault there, Despage, but Despage is, I guess, he's new to it. I mean, this was his 6th, 7th fight or something like that. Knocking out people in the first round always gives you that boost of confidence that you can just constantly go out there. But this is MMA, right? This is MMA. So the moment you come across a grappler that can hold you down, you need to step up that game, and then of course he's working on that, of course. But you've got some high-level grapplers. Think about John Jones, a champion. Like, I'm no fighter. I mean, I've done amateur stuff, but I love to train MMA and whatnot. I love to train grappling. You got to train. How do I put this, man? If you have to train like you're gonna go up against a champion who's got the best grappling. You know what I mean? Like, obviously he is. I mean, you can't go up against, you can never match, or you possibly can. GSP done it, but match up against a world-class wrestler who's been doing his whole life and whatnot. But obviously, look, that's gonna be his thing, be working on the grappling, be working on the takedown defense and all that sort of stuff. He's still exciting to see. I mean, it's amazing to see someone at that division. I would love to see him eventually going up against like a Cyril Gane, both of them with that movement, you know what I mean? Like him versus Cyril Gane with great movement. That'd be a great freaking striking battle, and definitely, fun to see these guys move around like that. But Cyril Gane's up there in the top 5. He's got a long way to go to get up there. Maybe with this fight and another fight, you could have seen that, but maybe in the future, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean it's done. And for Wilder, I think that just built him up a lot more, taking out a prospect like that, with a lot of hype, just built him up. So congratulations to him. I thought that was pretty awesome. All right, cool. The prelims. I didn't get a chance to watch all of them. Things got busy, man. I didn't get a chance to watch all of them, but I did see the first couple. I did actually want to see Chase Hooper, but I actually ended up missing that one. I should have started off with that, to be honest, but that's how the recording goes. It starts from the beginning, right? For the fights, and then anyway, Chase Hooper won by submission, and he's great at submissions. I mean, there was a whole thing of, I mean, I would say there's still a hype about him because his ground game's amazing. There was this thing where he would just take too much strikes to get in there, right? And too much of a beating. So I need to go back and watch his fight to hopefully that didn't happen. But I heard, I think he knocked down his opponent, Vachenslav, who I probably have butchered that name. I need to double check that fight, but he won by submission, so good on him. Terence McKinney versus Esteban Ribovic from Argentina. Esteban won by knockout. I believe that was a head kick. If I saw, I didn't watch that fight. And then the ones I did watch, there was a fight of the night. Billy Ray Geoff versus Trey Waters. That was fun. That was a fun fight. Especially like the end, I mean, at the end of round one, the way they were going back and forth, kind of like in the middle, picking each other off was absolutely awesome. And just the head movement and just in the pocket sort of fighting, which ultimately gave this the fight of the night, because that's how the kind of fight went throughout the whole night. But yeah, let's move on to next week's fight real quick. There was a couple other prelims I didn't get a chance to catch. Next week we got Edson Barbosa. I love watching this guy fight. Fight on the UFC Apex in Vegas. Edson Barbosa versus Leon Murphy from the UK. Barbosa, man, so fun. I mean, the guy at lightweight just fought the best of the best. Down here at featherweight. His striking is always beautiful to watch. It's just so smooth. His kicks, his leg kicks, so smooth. The spinning kicks he always throws. Is super dangerous. One of the best strikers for sure. In not just in the division, I'd say in the UFC. He's been there, man. He's been up there with the top in the lightweight division. In the featherweight, I just don't think he's like he's number 11. He's still got time to grow. He's always fun to watch. His striking is smooth and just pure great form of Muay Thai, especially those leg kicks, man. Some of those fights he had against Paul Felder and what's the other brother's name? From New Zealand. Can't remember his name now, man. Oh, I've gone blank, but just amazing striker. So he's always fun to watch. Leon Murphy from the UK. I can't say I'm crazy familiar. So I'm gonna keep an eye out. Obviously, UK, got to keep an eye out for him. Who else was on this card? You got Chaos Williams on this card. You got Angela Hills on this card. You got Temba Gorimbo. Remember him? He was the one that I think Kobe Covington hooked up some money and helped out. The Rock gave him a house and whatnot. He's a fun story to keep an eye on. Abus Magomedov from Germany. So interesting. And when you hear that name, you're thinking, all right. But obviously there's no relation there, or maybe not. Or maybe there is, I don't know. I doubt there is. Anyway, nice, easy, fun card to keep us going throughout the UFC. I think it's the next big one's going to be UFC 302 Makhachev versus Poirier, but we'll talk about that closer to time. I think we've got a fight next week and then a break for a week, and then we got this big UFC 302 fight, which we'll maybe catch up on next week. So I'm looking forward to that card, actually. That's going to be a good one. Cool. Let's quickly see what other MMA news there is out there real quick. We spoke about Dana White saying he's cool. Well, Dana White saying he's cool with, some of the fights going over to the WWE, especially, I guess, because they're under the same umbrella now and whatnot. And I think it's cool with that. People like Derrick Lewis and that stuff would be awesome to go over there. Joaquin Buckley was more realistic with his opponent after calling out McGregor. He's thinking Gilbert Burns would be a good fight. I think that will be a good fight. Kevin Holland looks like he's back in the last-minute matchmaking on UFC 302, the middleweight fight. So Kevin Holland's always up for a fight. Good to see him. He's super excited to see after that last fight with MVP. What else is here? Steve Erceg, sorry, after the loss he had last week on 301, he's eyeing a fight in Perth after falling short of the featherweight title. When is the Perth fight? Sure when that is, but he looks to come back quick. What else is going on? I keep seeing this one around. Khabib is reportedly owes $3 million worth of unpaid tax to the Russian government. This one keeps going around. I wonder what that's about. I mean, I'm sure he's an honorable man and he'll pay that back, but I saw loads of things about that. Um, I doubt you want to be holding tax away from the government in any country. So I'm sure he'll be paying that back. Gerard Cannonier breaks down Adesanya Duplessis. No, okay. PFL. Well, this is an interesting one. Donald Trump reportedly suggests a separate division in the UFC for Americans versus illegal immigrants. That must just be a joke. I don't know what that's about. Cool, man. Cool. Well, look, that's all the news that I'm seeing. Normally K West has a few things as well, which is always be good. But we will try. Look, K West is going through a lot now, trying to organize this stuff in Thailand. We would definitely sync up and make sure we get back on track. Maybe we're gonna find a better time to do this. This accommodates both of our times and whatnot. Being in different time zones, obviously different jobs and all that sort of stuff is always going to be difficult for us to do it. But look, regardless, we're fight fans. End of the day, we're fight fans. We always watch it. Sundays is my day where I love to it's the only day I can sit on the sofa, sit there in the morning, watch UFC. And I'm always going to watch them, fight nights to main cards, main UFC events. I enjoy them. I mean, like I say, when there are one of championship fights or PFL fights or whatever, which have fighters I'm interested in, I will check them out. Mostly I'm going to watch the UFC and just give thoughts, So I appreciate the listeners and people who appreciate our perspective. And again, we're just regular fans who just want to geek out about fighting and which give our perspective. So appreciate you all. Guys, we're going to leave it there as a quick one this week. Quick solo one. Again, guys, thanks again for watching, liking, subscribing, all that sort of good stuff. We're going to keep giving our thoughts on fights, whether, I don't know, we get views or not, man, because I think it's just us geeking out. And that's what this channel's about, the Brothers Geek Out channel. All right, on that note, I'm out. Peace.